Like that.
You're opening.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kachai again, our second episode. We promised we would record 1 week later, but it is 2 weeks later, but we are here. That's what matters. Mel, welcome to Kachai.
Thank you. Mel and Mim.
Mel and Mim,
Don't
as
forget to
usual.
introduce
Two
yourself.
sisters talking about life around a cup of tea. Kachai, once again, is a word in Luo, which actually, which means the tea place. Today we have an exciting topic, but before we get into that, I'm gonna take a pulse check. Mel, Tuesday, which feels like it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Okay, it was Easter, so today is Wednesday. I've been feeling like it's Tuesday. Where are you at? How are you feeling?
First of all, today is Giving Monday. It has been Monday from Tuesday. It's Monday again, but I'm good. I'm well. I'm healthy, busy at work, but yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And I think, like, if I'm to say out of 10, I'm a 7.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not
like
bad.
I would ask the kids what would take it to a 10, but let's not get there. Just at a therapy session. Yeah, for me, I'm fine. I think what is making it most exciting is that it is actually Wednesday.
I know.
In my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. Then my mind is like, it is Wednesday. And I'm like, yay, weekend is around the corner. So I'm feeling good. Work is busy, quite stressful, but the most important thing is that I'm healthy.
Yeah.
My loved ones are healthy, so I'm good.
Amen.
I'll maybe give it a 7 as well.
Okay. I like Thursday more than Wednesday.
Wednesday is my favorite day of the week.
You know, like you're preparing for a party.
Yeah.
Friday is the party. It's like Thursday. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
For me, funny enough, it's Wednesday. Wednesday is my best day of the week. I don't even get it, but I love Wednesday. Then Thursday is so long, it's like another Monday. So yeah.
Mine is Thursday, definitely Thursday, because like I said, it's like, you know, when you're planning for a party, what the planning is more exciting
than the eve of the like Christmas
itself.
Eve is usually really
for a party
exciting.
You want to attend.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And before Pam jumps into the main thing, you may have noticed. I'll bring it closer. We have caps. The kids said March, but why have you got merchandise so early before you have followers? We're like, please, leave us.
We want to drink tea.
So we got our own merchandise, ChatGPT, by the way.
By the way.
I know, right? We love cats. That's why there are 2 cats. I don't know if you can see that clearly. And then we love ourselves. That's why there are 2 girls there.
2 sisters.
Yeah. Okay, Mel, over to you.
So today we are going to talk about being, I'm not saying it like a Ugandan who is not like being Luo. Are we going to call it, is it about growing up Luo?
Yeah.
But in my village, we say Luo.
Luo, yes.
Growing up Luo, not Luo. Growing up Luo. So we're going to just talk about, I mean, it's something we've done all our lives. I'm not saying like it's new. We're experts. It's our point of view, of course. Growing up in this culture, in this skin, in this home, and the different, and what was different in our lives. So first of all, I don't know why did you pick this topic? Do you have a reason?
That's a good point. Why did we pick this topic?
Yeah,
I think these are adolescent issues that made us pick this topic. You know, as you grow up, you realize there are things in your life that drop along the way, but there are others that you continue carrying, you know, like carry your cross and continue following. I really think it's things we went through as, especially adolescents, that have remained in our minds. I think that is why we're talking about this. And I think it's great to just talk about it. And,
maybe before we go to the adolescence part, what was memorable growing up as a Luo child? What was different to you?
That's interesting. I got to learn this later, but there was stuff we used to do at home that not all homes do. And I realized there were actually things. For instance, when we were growing up, they used to bring, my grandparents used to send millet and cassava from upcountry. And then we were expected to prepare it to go to the mill. So we would like some light kind of pounding, and then we would, what's that thing called? Winnowing. Yes. And we used to call it Quarabel, and you'd look like you had been on Boate Road. So those things that I remember from growing up that I think were unique to our family, but also to our tribe, and also the stories. We have a lot of folk tales that we realized actually are not across the board. You find it like in a Court Bitex book and hear it from grandma and grandpa.
And
And like other people did not know the same stories
yeah.
that we did. So for me, those were some precious things.
Yeah.
What about you?
So maybe you said something about being Acholi. And maybe we need to clarify that the Luo are a huge group of people.
Exactly.
It's so in Uganda, I think maybe the Langi, the
Langi actually not Luo, but they are not. They just happen to speak a similar language because they live like really close to us. So it's the Jonam, it's the Aluo. Yes, Jonam, Aluo, Acholi, and then you go down to the Japadola, and then go to Kenya, the Kenya Luo. But Sudan. I did some research from Egypt. There are Luo tribes all the way from Egypt down through Sudan, and even in Tanzania.
Yes. See, we go far.
So we're one tribe out of the big.
Okay, so that clarifies who Luo are. It's a big group of people. Yeah. So for me, maybe growing up, I would say the thing I found funny later on was when our parents were angry, what they would call us. We laugh now, but they'd really be mad at that point. So if you're Miriam, it was Mitwach, or my full name is Pamela, they'll call it Patwaja. Yes. So it depends on the syllables. And
Paul's name had one syllable.
So it was just Twatch.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to some friends of mine whose their dad is Langi, their mother is Acholi. She said, my goodness, even in our home.
It's like when they're angry, they put Twatch somewhere. So if you have a one syllable name, it's like Twatch, and then it's Patwaja if it's a longer name, or Mitwatch.
But the funny thing is,
Sightwatch.
There's actually no English word.
There's no English.
Yeah.
You can't.
There's no English equivalent actually. Yeah.
It's just an expression of anger. Yeah. Like irritation and anger, and later on we'll talk about it, and I found it so funny. So those are things that I remember. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe I ask one more question before you start asking. What made you think we're different?
Good question. What made me think we're different? And I think that is where
at which point
that's when adolescent issues comes up, you know. I think the first time I sort of got a hint that there was something about our tribe was like shortly after the NRM war, when Museveni had just become president. We got an impromptu holiday. I mean, who goes to school when war just ended? But the war had already ended, and we were out playing on the compound. Mommy and Daddy were sitting outside, and then we were playing as usual, shouting in our language. And I remember Daddy calling us and saying, you guys, when you play, if you're going to speak in Acholi, don't shout loud. But I didn't think of it as anything. But when did I become aware? So throughout, I didn't even realize what tribe I was. I think it was like never an issue until, for me, it was till I got to S1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was secondary school things. And I remember one time, one girl telling her friend, why are you speaking to Ananyanya? And then it reminded me that the rebels were actually called Anyanya, and it is a derogatory term for our tribe. So that was the beginning. And later on, things like, you know, you're darker skinned than other people, and people say, oh, Acholis are this, or when you're speaking, they say, why are you quarreling? That kind of thing. So for me, secondary school was when I first recognized, first of all, that there are different tribes in the country, that it meant something. And also that my tribe was not one of those that people wanted to be. Yeah. What about you?
My primary school, I think it started in primary school because, again, people had that thing of when you spoke the language, people found they would laugh. I didn't find Luganda funny.
Exactly.
I didn't find Runyankole funny. But when I spoke Luo, people would start making fun and laughing. And there was even a point where I said, I don't know my language.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't speak my language. But right now I'm so proud of it.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Me too.
So it started in primary school, and in all honesty, I think many kids, it was from home, like their parents, I'm sure, are telling them something. There's no way these kids came up with this stuff. So they would laugh at the language, laugh at your darker skin, laugh at your darker skin parents. Exactly. And then you want to lean towards, oh, my mom has light skinned sisters.
Like for real.
Come on. So it was one of those things that you noticed at that point. But there are those small moments of I don't know if it was pride or if it was a nice thing, like when you're dancing the Acholi dance and they would choose you. I could dance anything, but when they choose you to dance Congo tea, grandmother keeps asking what does that even mean? I didn't know. I was just singing. It was like a war dance, and it was excited to be picked to say, she's the one who knows. Please not, I was singing the exact same thing the Luganda teacher was singing. But because my name was a yacht, so I should know it. So yeah, those are the things that I noticed at that time.
Right. And I think for me, looking back, I realized, because it's funny, we grew up in Kampala, like literally grew up in Kampala, almost never went to the village because there was war throughout. But if you listen to my accent is very Acholi, by the way. And yet we really grew up in Kampala. And there are a number of things that we pronounce in a very Acholi way. For instance, for us, our dad is not daddy, he's daddy.
Yes.
And initially, our neighbors would be like, what? Why do you call your dad daddy? But now I'm proud of it. I'm like, I actually tell the kids, it's only our father who is called daddy. Because for Acholi, we don't say, we don't say, it is actually in the middle of the word, it has that A-ish sound. So we call daddy daddy. And up to now, we still do that. But I know when the childhood friends were making it an issue, at some point, I began to try to say daddy, like you were saying. But looking back, I'm just so proud that we have that special name for him, which is a result of our mother tongue.
That's true. So we did grow up speaking Luo at home. For some reason, I don't know if it's my first language. Most probably.
I think so, yeah.
It's probably because I don't know when I started speaking English or whatever, but we at home, that's what we spoke. Because both our parents are from Gulu. So we grew up speaking the language, and later on you find yourself, I don't know, the Black American experience, they call it code switching.
Yeah.
When you enter the rest of people, there's a way we switch the way we speak.
Exactly.
Just so that we can you're so right. We do have that actually accent. We used to say company.
Yeah, company instead of company. And actually, even when we are speaking to each other normally, in our minds, we actually think we are speaking pure Acholi, but we just speak in an Acholi accent, a lot of Acholi, but with English and Acholi accent.
You're right. Yeah, so so that's true. So do you feel like being Luo affected your confidence in any way?
Yeah, so when I was in secondary school, it actually did. I remember, like the first time I really, really noticed it was in S1, in our school. I was in Namagonga girls, you know. In third term, I remember one evening we had gone for prep, and the A levels, the ministers came and they read a list of names and said the following girls meet in the main hall after prep. And when prep ended and these girls went, some girls in class said, "Do you realize all those people are either light-skinned, most of them are light-skinned, the ones who are a bit dark have sisters in A level." And for me, that, I don't know why, it just affected my confidence. It made me realize I'm naturally not good enough to be in these things. And they were being called to the main hall to be in the Christmas play, to be Mary, to be angels, those things that need light people. So that affected my confidence. And I actually had to struggle with it. Like each time I had to feel like I need to be so good at something to be on stage, to be in front of people. True. So actually it did for that time affect my confidence. What about you? What do you think?
I think it did. I don't know if it was about being Luo or being dark-skinned. That I think maybe that would be a whole other conversation. It was maybe more about being a dark-skinned. Remember in primary school, we were in Kitante, you know yourselves, people used to call dark-skinned people black and the light-skinned people brown.
Yeah.
So there was all that, you're black. So I think that is the main thing that affected me. Being Luo really, I'm not sure if it's something that really impacted my confidence. It was more about the constant and everyday discussion about your skin color. It was such a big deal in primary school.
Really true.
They would constantly talk about that. And then people who are dark-skinned, who are not from our side, were called Luo, or there's a word that Manyankola use. What's it called? Amokoko.
Yeah.
So there were those things that people said, even the ones who, and then they're like, and I'm not from there. Like,
I know,
thing.
right?
Yeah. So yeah, there was a bit of effect here and there, and then you find yourself doing the most.
True.
So you can stand out. So in primary school, I was in front when we were dancing. I make sure I'm doing the best acting. Like I need to be the one to work so hard.
In spite of my skin color,
like I need to be. So yeah, you find yourself doing a bit more, and I think later on it shows up like sort of a people pleaser. So so there was an impact here and there.
That's true. And I think for me, one of the things I think my first time to feel anger was as a result of that. Our youngest sister, we said we are 3 girls.
Yes.
When our youngest sister was in P1, there was this production item she was preparing for a dance, and she really prepared for it. Yes, and then she asked mommy to get her exactly the costume, a white shirt and a black skirt.
It was green shorts. White shirt.
It was a white shirt and black skirt. It was a special costume for the event. And so we got to school, we see the event, and she's not there. And she'd really practiced, and she's not there. And then later on, we say, Flavia, why were you not there? She said, the teacher said I was too black.
Yeah.
And they gave her costume to somebody else.
Yeah.
For me, I shouldn't cry. But I was so hungry, you know, because you're like, I can protect myself, but this little child, you know, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
True.
So you're right. I think the effect was more in terms of because we look the way we look.
Yeah.
Maybe if we were lighter skin, people would have, or people used to say, oh, you're too light skinned to be an Acholi or a Nordi.
Yes.
You know? So
yes. So
that is it. Yeah.
There was a lot of that. So it did, but I think right now it has become sort of a point of pride. Like, okay, they say pride comes before the fall.
We're not
pride, but it's just we're happy to be.
I think it's pride as well. Like we are so positively proud.
Of where I am from. True. People say where I'm from. I say Gulu. People let's say Gulu.
Yeah.
No,
Gulu. Exactly.
So
they tell people it's a heavenly place.
Learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend from Buganda was saying heavenly place. I was like, don't you guys call heaven Gulu? I'm from the heavenly place and I speak the heavenly language.
Yeah. So
yeah, I love it. I just love being Acholi. I love my skin color. I remember when I was in S1 to S3, I used to pray to God to make me lighter. I used to do rosary every night, but I would say, God, I don't want to be like a half caste.
Like
I even identified the person whose color I wanted. I said, you know. And now I look back and I just love my skin. I love who I am. But I make it a habit when I see a dark-skinned lady to tell them, you know how beautiful you are. Yes. And I make sure that I do that.
Yeah, because up to now, people still look at darker skin as not beautiful.
Exactly.
Not the desired.
Exactly. I mean, statements like you're black but beautiful, like for real. Why
is it bad?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I hear what you mean. So in terms of what I don't know, is there anything you think people would like to understand about our culture? By the way, this is a very huge thing. Right now, we're just generally talking. One day we'll talk about the different, I guess, smaller things like Miriam got married many years ago and her function was a thing. And maybe that's something we can talk about later on. But is there anything that you feel people need to know about our culture? There's something they don't know that.
Oh my gosh, like lots. First of all, our culture is really rich. I mean, in spite of the fact that we grew up in Kampala, like I said, there was war until literally 2006.
Yes.
So we essentially would go to the village for maybe one day. In spite of that, we've learned how rich our culture is. For instance, I think we have the most number of dances of any tribe in Uganda, in probably the world, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm told there's a priest who wrote a PhD on the Acholi dances. We have a special dance for funerals of young people, funerals of old people, royal dance, for a dance for young people who want to date but not to get married, a dance for people getting married, a dance
for war, before war.
Exactly, you know. So exactly, we have such a rich dance culture.
Yeah.
The other thing is the food. Yeah. People say, what is your staple food? And we have so many different staple foods. I tell them it depends on what you're eating with, right? I could say maybe the staple food is Odi.
By the way, that is it. It's so deep. We put, because a funny story about food. When I think I remember my first experience with matoke. People, I love matoke. I do. It's such a, and especially the one that, what do you call it?
Livovezad, but the Swedish one, not one.
My first experience with matoke, I think I was about 10 in P4. I tasted that matoke, and up to today, I eat matoke like, I'm being paid. I love it. So yes, there's Odi, but I don't think Odi can be eaten. Is it eaten matoke?
No, I don't think you can eat matoke.
Those two fights. They don't work together.
Exactly. So yeah, we have a lot of Odi. And for those who don't know, Odi is tahini or sim paste. And then it is also peanut paste. Yeah. So sometimes we have them separate or we have them mixed. I think that is a staple one because we eat cassava, we eat potatoes, sweet potatoes, we have millet, we have sorghum. All those are staple rice, loads of rice, but there are a lot of rice. The yummy aromatic rice is from Gulu. And then we have a lot of things like smoked meat. It's game meat and also the normal meat that is smoked. Even chicken is smoked. I got to know that after I got married, by the way. So the richness of our culture is one thing that we just love people to know. So we are beyond just the words you hear and you think we're quarreling. It is just, even our language is just beautiful. The same, our diction is small. Is that the right English word? We have very few, our vocabulary is not, we have very few words, but the same words mean so many different things. Sometimes with the same intonation, sometimes with a different intonation. Yes. It's a beautiful, I just love being here.
All right. Mine would be our people. What people would learn about our names. We have so many names. They mean so many things. Meanwhile, your name, someone's name, mine is a yacht. It means simple, or literally it could mean light, like not dark, like heavy or light. And sometimes your name could just mean what your parent is thinking. You know that this is going to be an easygoing person, like. But also people's names can mean something going on in their family.
Exactly, but you can get family history.
Just Lugambo. Someone tells their name, they're like, what was happening?
Exactly.
So people are named basing on a lot of things. So a lot of people's names tell you when they were born. Like our brother is called Otim, and someone born from home, right?
Yeah, so that was the first child born when my parents had moved to Kampala.
Exactly.
So essentially it means born in the bush. T means like the bush. So anyway,
they call Kampala the
Acholi
bush.
Land is the bush.
So anything outside, actually they decided bush. So you can tell people's names. So what I love about us is our names, and yours means a ruler.
A ruler, a leader.
Okay. So that's the one thing I love about our culture. People, I wish people would know. Just when someone tells you them and they're Luo, ask them for the meaning of their name.
They're very beautiful. And this goes across not just Acholi, all the Luo names have meanings. And it's interesting, many of them are the same across the board, the same name with the same meaning, provided you're Luo as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that people should know about Acholi, we are straight talkers, by the way. We call a spade a spade. When we were growing up, we used to have straight talk, right? As families, sometimes we're like, we need to deal with things. So if someone who is Luo doesn't like you, you're going to know. You don't have to guess. You're going to know. So that is what it's us as well.
I don't know if it's a character flaw or it's a good thing for me, but just be saying things.
Exactly. But I think for us who have grown up here, we've sort of toned down. I think the influence of the culture around us has sort of made us tone down.
Yeah, that is true.
But still, me, I say things like, if I hear that you're talking about me, I will call you up and say, you know what, I'm here. Let's reason together.
I heard. What should we do?
Exactly.
All right. I don't know if we can close this here today. Being Luo, unless there's something else you want to add. But I feel like it's a very wide topic. Next time, because we've just entered this thing, we're going to talk about many different angles of being Luo, different portions of it. What is joyous? What maybe even Miriam will dance for you one day and I'll cook, things like that. So
exactly. Yeah. I think one thing that I've mentioned as part of also the influence we got growing up, I remember one time, and we'll talk about parenting sometime, there's a lot of shaming of parents. And I remember that someone shared something on social media shaming parents whose children don't speak their mother tongue. And I remember sitting back and feeling bad about it. I was like, our kids, they understand to some extent, but they don't speak it fluently. And I was just wondering, how come? And I realized that these are some of the traumas we grew up with. Because, like I said, when we were young and our parents said, don't speak your language aloud, because it wasn't safe at that time.
It wasn't
right?
safe, yes.
And our dad, by the way, during the time of Amin, when Acholis were being killed, he was almost killed. He was saved by people from Western Uganda, by the way, by Acholi. So thank you for saving our dad. He wouldn't have been born, But anyway, so stuff like that made me realize that even as we speak Acholi among ourselves, we are not fluent ourselves. We don't think it's
Acholi B.
Exactly. We are not fluent in the language we speak. We know the words, but not enough to like teach somebody else or have a normal conversation. And then also, in addition to that, we went to schools where English was the required language, right? And then like in Namagonga, we're allowed to speak vernacular on weekends, but for like 4 hours. And like it wasn't enough time to like get soaked in the thing. And people are anyway laughing at your language. Anyway. Exactly. And people are laughing at your language anyway. So it's sort of English became a sort of first language. And so just letting people, as you judge, some of us, we were stressed by society. So we sort of don't know our language so well, but we are trying what we can. And maybe just letting people know, be kind to people, right?
Be kind.
You don't know what the impact of your words has on someone forever and even down to generations. There's something called generational trauma, inherited trauma. It's simply because of what the parents have gone through. It's not the DNA, but the fears as a result of what you've experienced. So be kind, and we are beautiful. Acholis are.
Yeah. So what you say, not just to people, but also around your children, because many of us were traumatized by our peers
who
and who are also children who learned from their parents, and they carried this thing and planted it in some other child. So kindness is a very, very big deal. So we are all different. We have, so maybe you can tell us about your cultures, and if you're from our end, whichever version of Luo you are, let us know and tell us maybe what else can we speak about next time.
You'll give us topics to speak about. Yeah. And then also people from other cultures would love to hear your story. What did you love about being you? Did you ever go through these issues that we went through? What are your experiences? I'd love to hear, because we are speaking from our point of view, like we're traumatized. Maybe
we're traumatizing you
guys. So please let us know. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And we just wish you a blessed day, and we want to pray into your lives that anyone who has been hurt by the words that people say, they were young, they didn't know what they were doing. And even sometimes we were traumatized by adults, but the important thing is let them go, let them go, because carrying that pain even now does not change the fact that it happened. So just allow that it happened, let it go, and God bless you. See you next time at Kachai. It is Kachai, not Kachai. Kachai, the tea place with Mel and
Mim.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's on a touch screen. I have to cut things.
Just